Alright, and welcome back to I Love Awful Things, the show where I get to speak sometimes, but not really. Today's episode is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Yeah, I thought for once I'd let you talk about something that was a little better.
Yeah, a little better here. Instead of that normal crap that we do with those movies.
Oh, the movies are good. The movies are wonderful.
Not always, though.
I kind of wanted to do a movie, but then you were like, we haven't done a video game yet.
And
like a couple episodes ago.
And
a couple months ago, a year ago.
We're always saying how we do all types of content. We need to get on music sometime, too.
I don't know. Music is so subjective that anything you say, anything you pick, like it could have horrible rating, but it's more of a subjective medium. So there is a big following for whatever type of music, whatever album. There's always going to be those people. So it's harder to find something that is more universally hated, especially that I would like with music. I'm very picky.
Yeah, I guess. That makes sense. I like some crazy stuff, but...
Oh, if you had something...
I could bring something up to you, yeah.
Alright.
That's to be seen, though.
Yeah. So, this episode we're reviewing, my favorite video game of all time?
Yeah, one that I used to hate when we were little.
One that is universally loved?
Yeah, to be fair, I only hated it because of the character creation, and you might be thinking, why did he hate it for a feature that it has that's awesome? Well, it's because when some people use it, they never stop using it, and it seems to be the only thing that they like using, and that might be Mike over here, who just never would stop creating his character over and over again. He didn't like one little thing about it, and he'd just change it, and then he'd go into the park editor, and then he'd just make parks the entire time, and I would want to skate, but he didn't want to do that.
Hey, I made a perfect one-to-one replica of Freddy Krueger that you liked to skate around with.
That was a cool character.
And I might do it again.
That one took you 5 minutes, and you didn't have to keep retrying over and over again.
I'm an artist, Tim.
An artist.
An artist. I was sculpting with a visual medium. Something that was wonderful. It felt good to me to create something, have it show up in the game. I could make myself. I could make you. Like I said, I made Freddy Krueger. I made all these different characters, and I liked them. And It was my game that I got for Easter.
I might be a little hard on you for using the character creating so much in this wonderful game.
Here's what I'll concede. Maybe I used the character creator too much. Maybe I spent too much time on character creator. However, the park editor, not so much. I think the park editor needs that much time put into it.
To make a great park, to make combos able to be used from one trick to another.
And I've made some really good parks in that game.
Yeah, there's some good ones that you made.
See, everything we do, I've always got something to convince you on. This time it was my creativity. See, welcome back to I Love Awful Things, the show where I create things and then try to convince my brother that they're cool.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, but okay.
Well, let's get into the meat of the game here.
Yeah, okay.
I recently replayed through it. It was my favorite game. I've beaten it before, but this was the first time I ever 100% completed Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Yeah, and I recently played through it again, too.
And I did not know that's what you had to do to unlock Spider-Man. I thought you just played the game, beat it with a created character. That's what I had read online. Look again, you have to 100% the game. So, I sat down, and I loved it. Loved every second of it. Some parts are frustrating. It's hard to pull off some of the tricks, especially when you're in Philadelphia, and you've got to grind to the top of the balcony to drain the fountain, and then you gotta get that last dollar that's up there because that's the one you forgot when you were up there the first time. But after you 100% that game and you're playing as Spider-Man, your first thought is, Spider-Man's stats aren't as good as my created character now, so I have to beat the game again.
And once you beat the game, everything completed, you look up online how other people did it. And it's just insane. They're flying across the map, doing one trick the entire time, get everything with one combo. And then you're like, oh, maybe I'm not as good at this game as I thought.
I'm pretty sure if I practiced a little more, I could do it.
Yeah, you just have to get that manual down, really.
I mean, what did you say the other day? Like, when I started playing again, I was terrible, but then I got good at it, and I was, like, an actual decent player. Like, it's a game that... It's rare for me to actually be decent at a game. And this is one game that I'm actually legitimately good at when I try. I mean, I'm good at most things. I cannot play the multiplayer Graffiti worth anything, but I can do the other stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess what we have so far failed to mention is we were not playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Nay. We were playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2X, the launch title for the original Xbox.
One of the launch titles, yes.
And I know there's someone out there that's saying, but hold on, there was a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on Xbox? Yes, there was. And it is a far superior game, even to an already perfect game. They found a way to make a game more perfect. They added extra levels for 2 that they call the 2X levels. They added the whole first game.
They did. It is kind of...
They did a game remake where they legitimately left in everything from the game without tampering with it or taking anything out.
Except for the menus, but that's fine.
And then added to it without taking away from what they added to it. You know what I mean? Like, they put all of 1 in there, and yes, the controls from 2 make it easier, but all of 1 is there in its whole, and it's good.
I think something that really makes 1 easier once you get to it is the fact that you've already upgraded all your stats by the time you get there.
And you've already played through 2.
And I'm not sure if you can even upgrade your stats in 1 anyway.
I'm not sure. I was never really into 1. My first real encounter with 1 has been playing this game.
Really?
Yeah. Our uncle had it.
I remember playing
that one. And I played against him.
I remember playing that one quite a bit, actually.
And then when Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD came out, which is horrible compared to 2X.
It's completely...
It's garbage.
Yeah. Compared to this one.
It's actual garbage. Like, I would... If you had the 2 in front of me, you're like, which one do you want to play? I would put 2X in the Xbox and throw away the other one. There is no need to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD.
It really is.
Unless you really wanted to play as James Hetfield. But I ask you, do you want to play as James Hetfield, which you have to pay $3 for? Or do you want to play as Spider-Man that has multiple costumes and you had to actually earn, I mean, other than having to find a job, go out and work, to have $3 to put in, but I mean earn within the game.
Yeah.
I mean, the game speaks volumes for itself. There's a reason that the Tony Hawk games are still around to this day. And it's not because the new ones are good.
It's definitely not that.
Not at all. Those games suck. There's been a lot said about how Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 sucks. But the other games suck too. Like anything...
Like which ones are you saying suck?
Alright, so 4 isn't the greatest. 3 is better than 4. Everything's better than 5. Tony Hawk Underground 1 and 2, those both had a pretty good cult following, but they don't even come close to the original 3 Tony Hawk Pro Skater games. And then American Wasteland, I've seen people really like American Wasteland online, but I've seen people really hate it. And I am somewhere in the middle, but I'm leaning more towards hating it.
American Wasteland is different in many ways, and it just doesn't feel like a Tony Hawk game. It feels like somebody trying to mimic a Tony Hawk game.
The Tony Hawk games that I've beat are 2, 1, 2X, the 2X levels, Tony Hawk's Underground, Underground 2, American Wasteland, 3, and I never even played 5.
Yeah.
I couldn't bring myself to do it. It was not a finished game. But those are the games that I've beaten. I've never played 4. I've heard it's not as good as 3. I could be wrong about that. But in my opinion, the epitome of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games is 2. A lot of people will say it's 3, and I have to acknowledge that in a lot of ways they're correct, but Spider-Man. But
Darth Maul, though.
Darth Maul's a cool character in Star Wars.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I think our homework for this is to play 4.
I guess. Here's my issue with 3 compared to 2. 3 is really hyped up. I see why people like it. I like it. I've played it. The creation aspect of it's even better. Mm-hmm. Although I was accustomed to the older creation kits.
Yeah.
That were in 2. 3 did expand on them, but I almost like the limitation. I feel like if you can make something in the limitation, it's better. That's how I've always seen. It's gonna sound weird for me to compare it to this, but that's how I've always seen art. Things that are more limited are better.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I'm an artist.
People...
I mean, you can go back, you can find the audio earlier where I say I'm an artist, but I'm not literally meaning that when I play that video game, I'm an artist. I just think the limitations, if you can create something with a limitation, you've done better than someone who has all the tools at their disposal. And that's a lot of what 2 is. There is, if you compare 2 to 3, there are certain limitations that if you're good at 2, 3 happens to be a harder game because they put harder goals in it. Not because the controls are more limited, not because the characters are more limited, simply because they put harder tasks in.
Right.
But 2, the controls are fluid, they're good, they're perfect controls, but there are things you can't do with them. Mm-hmm. Do you get what I mean? There's just something that's almost there with it not being there.
Right, yeah.
And maybe it's because I spent so much time with it.
That's probably the main thing to look at here is the fact that we spent so much time with this game.
And you hated it until like 2 days ago.
I hated it until a couple years ago.
After I stopped playing it the first time, which was like a 10-year run of me non-stop playing it.
Basically, once I went off by myself to play it, I liked it.
Yeah, I can see that. We should talk about what consoles I have. What versions of it I have. Because I bought Tony Hawk Pro Skater for the 64 a couple years ago when I wanted to play it again. But I still have my PlayStation version. And we just got the Xbox version, so we've played it on 3 consoles. And I think on all 3 platforms it really holds up.
The controls are all the same. And even on the 64.
And it's like I said earlier, it's very fluid. You can move the character in a way that makes sense, that is natural.
Everything's connected.
Yeah. And you can do tricks the same way. The controls are there. The one thing that maybe the 64 lacks is their limitation with the soundtrack. Like, the songs are more edited, they're shorter. I don't even know if all the songs make it up there. You'll have to look that up. Answer that for me if they even have the same track list. But it is such a good playlist that I actually bought the songs individually and burned them onto a CD.
Right, yeah.
And it's out in my car currently.
I think the best version for the soundtrack is the Xbox one because...
It sounds the best. It has the best. Better audio.
It just has the best hardware for the audio.
Overall, my favorite game ever, I would have to say. I guess maybe we should give it a rating.
Yeah, rate it for us.
I'm going to give it 125 out of 125.
And I'm normally more realistic, so I'll give it an 89%.
89%? Okay. I do this all the time. But I'm legitimately... You've tapped into my OCD now.
No.
Can you just say 90%? I mean, you've basically given it 90%. 9 out of 10. It's easy. It's easier to think of it in those terms. There's better fractions. Just for the fractions.
No, not even for the fractions.
But you love fractions.
Not even for the fractions.
Let's look up what IGN has to say.
Maybe then I'll go up to a 90. 9 out of 10. Maybe then, if IGN
rates Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 at a whopping 9.6 out of 10. Meaning that you have given it the lowest score.
Given that information, I'll give it a 9.
And that is for PlayStation. For Nintendo 64 is 8.6. I don't understand that.
I'll give it a 9. Okay, you got me up 1 this time.
90%.
I give it a 9 because IGN.
Because you agree with IGN. 10 out of 10, IGN. Side note, the Dreamcast version of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, which we are now going to buy, is a 9.9 out of 10 on IGN.
Really?
Yes.
Holy crap. We need to get a hold of that game.
Whoa! This is dumb. Alright, the Xbox version, just looked up that IGN score.
Yeah.
The 2X, which I just realized the X in 2X is for Xbox, because it was an Xbox exclusive.
I'm not sure about that.
Maybe it's because there's extra.
2x, two times, you know?
7.5 out of 10 from IGN.
Really?
The better version of the game.
It's the same game is the thing.
It doesn't matter. It's got better graphics, better quality overall. It is of better quality. The controls are even a little tighter.
We should get the Dreamcast version. It might be the best version of the game.
Listen, I'll make a promise right now. If we get and play the Dreamcast version, and I legitimately think that it's the best version of the game possible, better than the Xbox version that I've been playing, we will make a follow-up video, and I will explain exactly why the Dreamcast is the best. But if it's not, then at some point in passing, I'll be like, it's terrible.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean it's terrible.
But comparatively, this has been Mike Odell.
And Tim Odell.
And we're the Odell brothers. Signing off.
We're not going to do that again.